could right now, just go ahead and grab that handout. That's what we're going to walk through. I'll also put it up on the screen so that everyone can see it as well. All right, so if you haven't met me before, my name is Jamila Payne, and I am the founder and CEO of Daily Success Routine. And Daily Success Routine is a professional development company. We're focused online primarily, and we work with a lot of ambitious women and a few awesome gentlemen. And so we create planners and vision journals, goal setting notepads, and other tools that help them to achieve their goals. And we also develop seminars and workshops, and we teach those to companies and organizations, small business groups, so that they can also get better in terms of their professional development, goal setting, and being able to be more productive at what they would like to accomplish. So I'm really excited about today. Oh, well, first let me just say also that the daily success lifestyle has become a movement. So I've been speaking to tons of people all across the US and also internationally. This was me at the Massachusetts Conference for Women last year, where there were over 9,000 women just at that conference alone. But so I've spoken to thousands and thousands of people, and it's been exciting to understand what the challenges are that a lot of career professionals, high achievers, and business owners are facing, and to be able to kind of share what's worked for them through using some of the methodology, our daily success method that I'm going to just talk a little bit about today, and in terms of the context of creating one-page productivity plan. And let me say why this is important. I think a lot of times we are in the weeds of the work that we want to do and that we want to accomplish. And not only are we in the weeds in terms of what we're working on, but there's a lot of life constantly being thrown at us, meaning you might have loved ones that you're taking care of, a significant other that you're taking care of, children, aging parents. There's all kinds of things that are involved in our lives that we also have to handle in terms of responsibilities. Not to mention, you know, some of us are crazy and we also volunteer for organizations and nonprofits and all these other things that we have going on. And it can all just get a little bit overwhelming. And so the goal of tonight in this one-page productivity plan is to help you to take a step back and kind of get that, 1,000-foot view of your life, your career or business, and what's important to you, so that you can effectively achieve more and stay on target. So what I find in a lot of the people that I work with is they just lose track. There's so much going on, use constant ADD, that they just lose track of what is important to them. And this is going to help you to really get centered around that. So I'd like to know if you could just type in the chat box, how many people here are business owners? So let's say if you own a business on a part-time or full-time basis, or even if you're starting a business, maybe it's not all the way launched yet, but you're starting a business, just type yes into the chat box if that's you. Okay, I see Kate, Sherelle, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Welcome back. Betseda, what a pretty name. William, Levon. Welcome back, Levon. Paul. Yes, so a lot of people are business owners. Okay, great. So, so this is going to be helpful for you, whether you are running a company, growing a company, starting a company, or if you are a full-time career professional who's really trying to figure out how in the world do you manage it all? How do you create time for yourself, your family, or other things you care about, in addition to working a job, which takes up most of your day, quite frankly. All right, so hopefully you've grabbed the handout by now, and I want to go ahead and start in with the first section of the handout, which talks about the definite major purpose. And in fact, I'm going to just switch screens for a second so that I can pull the handout up on the screen. So that way you can see it. Anyone who's not able to grab it for themselves will be able to see my version of it. All right, here we go. Okay, so here it is, right in front of us. The one-page productivity plan. Okay, so we're going to start with the top left-hand corner, which says definite major purpose. And the definite major purpose is a concept that comes from the book Think and Grow Rich. If anyone here has read that book, just type yes into the chat box. I'm curious if a lot of people have read Think and Grow Rich. It's a world famous book written by Napoleon Hill many, many years ago. I think the book was probably written in, I don't know, I want to say the 70s, but it's probably even a lot earlier than that. Sadia said, yes, own it. Awesome book. Okay, great. Kate, Kalinda. Okay, so good. So some folks are familiar with Think and Grow Rich. You should definitely pick it up, particularly, for everybody, but especially if you're a business owner. It's definitely going to be useful, significantly useful book. So the concept of definite major purpose, in fact, I'm going to just share with you, I'm going to read with you kind of the beginning of the book. The beginning of the book starts off by talking about this gentleman, Edwin C. Barnes. And Edwin C. Barnes was a guy who was penniless, who essentially went to become a multi-millionaire because he was selling Thomas Edison's inventions. And so to have, Edison or Edwin Barnes tell the story, they say that the way that he finally achieved it, the way he finally achieved his financial goals was simply through determination and desire. But this was no ordinary desire. And Napoleon Hill goes on to explain inside of his book that he created this deep drive, essentially, to be able to achieve his goal. And that deep drive comes from having a DMP, or definite major purpose. And understanding and being able to define your DMP will help you to live the life you want. So let me just say a little bit more about the DMP. And you can search for, if this intrigues you, definitely read the book. But if you just want to do some quick research, there's tons online that you can find about DMP. So let me give you how you define your DMP. Okay, so it says that your DMP is the ultimate goal that you wish to achieve in your life. It could be something as simple as vacationing 8 months a year, having a 4-day weekend, or planting a tree in the center of the Pacific Ocean. Your definite major purpose is for you to define. Now, here's what I would say. I think a lot of people get caught up in the word purpose. And that word is overly used, particularly in the online world. And I think it traps people up feeling like, okay, I'm not sure what my purpose is exactly. I don't know. But the thing that I would say, it's not really about finding your purpose. It's really about remembering who you already are. And so your purpose has been the thing that has been inside of you probably since you were young as a kid. And it has evolved in your life in many ways. And maybe sometimes you let it go and you came back to it. And let me just share my own personal experience so that I can kind of be specific and help you think about this. So I started out as an entrepreneur at just 10 years old. I had my first business, which was cleaning up hair in a local hair salon. And then I got them to expand to letting me, do a little bit of landscaping outside of the salon for those places that had a little bit of a grassy front on their salon. And so me and my girlfriend Mia, we went around to salons in our neighborhood and we cleaned up the hair. And that's how I started my first entrepreneurial venture. And it just went on and on and on from there. So I got entrepreneurial training, and then after college started businesses, etc. I won't get into my full story now, but the point is that was something that was in me from a kid. And it never went away, that entrepreneurial fire. So the thing to ask yourself, if you're not sure about what your DMP is, what is the thing that you've been inspired to do since you were young? So how that fire ignited as a kid, what my definite major purpose has developed into today is to help people achieve personal and financial freedom through business ownership. And so the way that I do that is by having a professional development company and teaching people about ways to earn additional income through owning a company of their own or starting a business, or maybe they're investing in stocks, for example. So I serve on the board for an organization called Better Investing, where we help teach people how to invest in stocks. Again, all of that aligns with my definite major purpose: personal and financial freedom through ownership. So think about, what is your definite major purpose? And if you already have an idea, then I would love to hear it. So type it into the chat box if you have a sense of what your DMP is. What's the thing that you're working towards? And I want to say this: our definite major purpose isn't always directly aligned to how we earn a living. It could be our heart work. For example, I have a friend who is a health coach, and originally she was going to be a full-time health coach, but she also has decided to expand into some other ventures, and she's allowing health coaching to be her heart work. Like, that's her DMP. Like, she wants to help people to live a luxe life and feel good about themselves and their confidence by helping them to lose weight and feel good in their bodies. Okay, awesome. So I see Sherelle says encouraging and educating others through communications. Awesome. Feel free to keep posting them. Okay. Timberly says riding bikes all over the world and traveling as a lifestyle. I love that. That's so inspiring. I had the experience a few years back of bike riding across the Golden Gate Bridge, and it was so awesome. So wow, just post a lot of pictures on that, Timberly. I really want to see. That's amazing. Okay, others, be the boss of myself in my own time. That's awesome, Lisa. I totally resonate with that. And that is definitely, when I speak about personal freedom, that's definitely what I think of us being able to, people being able to own their own time. And that can be in the context of a 9-to-5 or outside of a 9-to-5. What I'm seeing now that's so exciting is some career achievers who are just making their own way inside of companies, and they're able to, write their own schedule and have days that they work from home, or they're able to leave early if they have to pick up their kids. And so I think that we're just in a really interesting time that we can start to create our own futures. Firstly, if you believe that it's possible, right? So yes, there is a traditional way that corporate gets done, but I think we are in a place where if you believe it's possible to create your own future, you can really start doing that. Okay, Levon said creating art that inspires and empowers others. That's awesome, Levon. I love that. All right, so definite major purpose is first, getting clear on exactly what that is. Next is the better future. So what's the better future that you want to create? This might be just for yourself. It might be for your family. So in my case, if I think about better future, I think about building a legacy for my family. I think about, and when I say my family, I mean, I don't have my own family yet, like in terms of my own children, but I mean in terms of my parents, my sister. My sister has children. Like, I want to be able to build a legacy for our family that lives on beyond us. I want to be able to create generational wealth that can be passed on to my children when I have them, to my sister's children, to their children. So that's the better future that I want to create for my family. So what's the better future that you want to create? This is going to be a really juicy one. So everyone just type into the chat box, what's the better future that you want? It could be something like, feeling good in your body, feeling confident in your body and confident about who you are, feeling assured in the things that you want to accomplish in your life, the goals and dreams that you have for yourself. It could be the better future is maybe you have, retiring parents who weren't able to fully supply for their retirement in the way that they thought they would. And maybe the better future that you want to create right now is that you're setting up a scenario that allows them to have a fruitful retirement, but also that you are creating a retirement for yourself so that you don't have that experience when you get to that point in your life. Okay. I see confidence. Okay, that's an awesome one. What are some other better futures that you want to create? I'm excited to see what you post. Building generational wealth by delegating, freedom lifestyle. I love that. Have the flexibility of time, prospering in health and wealth. Ooh, I love you said that. Health and wealth. To build wealth that would be passed on to my son, to be self-disciplined and more organized in the near future. I love that. That gives me chills to read that. So awesome. So we all get a sense of the better future that we want to create, and this will keep us front and center. So as we're making daily decisions, you can go back to this and say, is this taking me towards the better future that I want to create? Or is it taking me away from the better future that I want to create? Spending more time with my extended family. I love that. I want to have time to teach yoga to seniors. That's awesome. So you have to ask yourself that, and that's going to show up in different ways. So let me give you an example. It might be like in a moment you're feeling like, we just got through the holiday season and a lot of people got caught up in some of the deals. One of the big things that happen as a deal during the holiday season are TVs. TVs are always on sale. And, maybe you were thinking, should I get this TV? This TV is usually $500. It's only $300 for the holiday. Should I make that decision? But if getting that TV means that you are you're not making an investment in your stocks or in your business or something that's going to get you to that better future of building health, building wealth, being able to pass on a legacy to your son or to your family. Or if you're saying, I'm going to join the fifth board, right? If that fifth board that you're joining is preventing you from having that time to teach yoga to seniors, then this becomes your filter, right? So this is how we're going to utilize this document in our life. It becomes your filter to say, nope, this is taking me away from my better future. So I'm not going to say yes to this activity because it's moving me away from what I want and not bringing me closer to it. Okay, so the next one is 90-day outcome goal. Now, one of the things that we hugely stress as a part of the daily success routine and our entire methodology is we teach to set up your goals in 90-day increments. And here's why that's important. Number one, 90 days is long enough to be able to accomplish something significant, but it's short enough to change course if you figure out what you're working on isn't actually what you want after all. It's also important. It's a short enough time that you can have a dedicated focus towards a certain effort without feeling like you are cutting off all of the things that you want to achieve. So Just type yes in the chat box if it's true for you that you probably have, 3 or more things that you want to accomplish right away. So that might be that you have a desire to start a business. You have a desire to lose weight. You have a desire to find the person of your dreams. You have all these things, and you're like, and I want them all done like last week. Because I see so many yeses. Sherelle, Lisa, Karen, Kalinda, yes, Brandy. Like, there's so many yeses. This is so true for so many of us. And so this is why 90-day goal setting is going to be a game changer for you, because it's going to help you to focus for a set period of time, but you can move on very quickly. So it's just now. So we're still in January. So if you think, look, just between January, February, March to the end of March 30th, I'm going to just concentrate on a big goal. And if you're new with the 90-day goal framework, then you might say, okay, I'm going to do one personal, and I'm going to do one business or career goal. If you have done 90-day goal framework, then you might be okay to say, okay, I'm going to take on 2 personal and 2 business, and then I'll just work on those things. But it's important that you just streamline and narrow down. So what we usually teach in the daily success routine process is to set no more than 3 90-day goals. So you might have one that is, socially related. You might have one that is personal, or in terms of like your own personal health and wellness. And then you might have one that is career or business. So no more than 3 is the best way to go. So let's hear some 90-day outcome goals. What do you want to achieve? And try to be specific as possible. So, for example, if you want to write a book, then maybe it's your 90-day goal is that you're going to write a 200-page novel by the end of March. So think about, how do you know when you've arrived? So don't just say like, oh, I want to, be more joyful. No, how do you know when you arrive? What is that place? How do you know when you've gotten to that destination? So to share a few examples, one of my 90-day goals is I am working on writing a book proposal. So that's one 90-day goal that I'm working on. A second 90-day goal is we are launching our live event series, and that's going to be a live podcast called Business Badass, and that's going to take place in New York City, kicking off in March. So me and the team have been aggressively working towards, we were scouting out venues for the live event last week. We confirmed our venue. So I am laser focused on making that happen in the next 90 days, or by March 22nd, which is going to be our first event. So if you are interested in attending, then I'll make sure everyone here gets an invitation. So those are 2 examples. The other thing, let me see, something I have on the personal side has more to do with wellness and clean eating. So making sure that I am eating clean meals and staying on my gym routine. And my gym routine is typically, minimum 4 days a week I'm in the gym. So that's when I know that I'm meeting that goal. I'm hitting that goal, because I have like my habit tracker, and I'm writing a big X every day that says, yes, I'm on target. So those are 3 for me. So let's see, what do you have? Kate says, finish illustrating my second children's book. Oh, wow. That's so awesome, Kate. I would love to see your illustrations. Feel free to post a link to your website. Lisa says, completing a PowerPoint presentation to be used in a webinar. That's great, Lisa. So focus on those revenue goals. I love it. Anyone else? What are some of the 90-day things that you're going to be focused on? Network with at least 3 individuals who are involved in my new career path. I love that, Saida. So making sure that you are building those relationships with the right people that are going to help you get closer to that better future. I love that. Okay, awesome. So I'm hoping that everyone's getting down. exactly what your 90-day goal is going to be. Complete your inspirational subscription boxes for women. I love that, Levon. Dying to see what's in there. When you come back to another Plan the Week, feel free to share a photo or link. Okay, so Kalinda says, finish setting up the business, lose weight and eating clean, strengthen and meditation walk. I like that. Clean eating, same here, making sure that I am taking care of my body. And I just, it's kind of not really a sidebar, it's related to what we're saying, is I can't say enough about how it's so important. I know everyone here is an achiever, because you wouldn't be interested in what we're talking about today if you're not. And I just can't say enough about how making sure that we are fueling our bodies with the nutrients that we need to be energized to do the work that we want to do is so important. Lisa says, elect members of my personal virtual board of directors. That is boss. I love that, Lisa. Yes, we need to be surrounding ourselves with people that are going to move us forward. That's something that I have also spent a lot of focus on just in this first month of this year. You know that saying that you hear all the time, that your wealth, your income is the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And so I think it's important, not just from an income perspective, right, but also from what are the things that you want to accomplish in life perspective. Are you around people that are doing similar things that you're doing? And I started a little bit more now. I'm not going to deny, I have been really lucky to build, and I shouldn't say luck, it's work, it's effort. I've been putting in the effort to build an awesome, relationships with people over the years. So I'm very thankful for the relationships that I have in my life. However, I'm not always around the people in that relationship group, in that network, that are doing a lot of the things that I'm doing, or doing things that are 5 steps ahead of what I'm doing. So one of the things I've been a lot more intentional about is being around more of those people. And I'm telling you already, just between, let's say maybe it was November, December, where I kind of started it, and then been like really thinking intentional about it this month, like things are opening up for me like crazy, just because I'm like around people that want similar things. So, all right, I'm on a soapbox here about that, but it's something that I'm really passionate about. And I want to inspire you to also think about that as well. Like, you got to get around people who are going in the direction you're going, because I'm telling you, otherwise you'll have people that are pulling you down emotionally, psychologically, everything. So make sure you get around some awesome folks. So the next one is soul goals. Oh, okay. And let me tell you why soul goals are so important. Soul goals are something that we teach in the daily success routine process. And a soul goal is something that you're going to do for yourself every single day. It could be just 15 minutes. It doesn't have to take long. I think too often we're thinking, oh, I don't have an hour to do the thing I want to do for myself, or I don't have 2 or 3 hours. It doesn't take that. It's just the practice of doing something for yourself every day. So the best thing that you could do even here is just keep a list, like have 5 things that are your ideas for soul goals. So let me give you a few examples. A soul goal could be spending 15 minutes reading the book that's been collecting dust on your nightstand. It could be giving yourself a bubble bath. It could be that you're going to journal or meditate, or that you're going to, I don't want to say necessarily watch a TV show. I don't know how that's filling your soul, but maybe it is. Maybe like me, you love that show. It's called, what is it called? This Is Us, or All of Us. I swear every time I watch that show, I'm sobbing. You would think that I would just I would stop watching a show that makes me sob every time, but it's so good. If anyone else watches that show, you can relate. But you want to have a soul goal, something that you do for yourself every day. So let's hear it. What is something that you can do for yourself every day, even if it's just 15 minutes? Could be going for a walk. Sometimes I like to take a break in the workday and during lunch, and I'll just go for a 15-minute walk and take in nature. Sometimes we're like in our huddles and doing our work all day. We don't even know what's going on outside. We don't get any sun. We don't get to take in the weather. So what is something that you can do for yourself every day? Couple soul goal ideas. This is a great one to share so you can inspire some ideas for other people. Something you might do for yourself. I don't know if I said this one, but polishing my nails. That's on my soul goal list. It's something I like to go to. Okay, there's a lot of great ones. Let's see here. Motivational speeches while driving to work. Oh, that is awesome. I love that. I try to do YouTube every morning, listening to something motivational. Meditation. Get outside at least 20 minutes. Awesome. Levon says, unplug electronics and have a cup of tea. I'm on my cup of tea right now. Awesome. I really resonate with that one. Sherelle says, go for creative space for inspiration in the park, art museum. Oh, that's really good. I think that's important too, especially if you are a owner. It doesn't matter if you're owner or not, honestly. To do creative things creates inspiration. I can't tell you like how much inspiration I've gotten from the randomest places. Like I'm just in a place and the thing that's been troubling in my mind that I haven't been able to figure out, like the creative idea for, I'll just be, at the park, in a museum somewhere, and it hits me just because I'm creating that creative space. So I love that you said that, Sherelle. Kate says, try to learn something new each day and then share it with another. Oh, that's a boss one, Kate. So we really remember the things that we learn by teaching it to someone else. So I totally invite everyone here to, share the 1-day page productivity planner. Tell people about Plan the Week Live. Share some of the things that you've learned this evening for number one, to be able to solidify it in your brain so that it can also, and it can also benefit someone else. Art journaling. Oh, that sounds awesome. Is that very like picture, kind of sketching? That sounds cool, Levon. Okay. All right. Good. So many soul goals. You all have given me ideas as well. Now, I also tell people that while you should have your day-to-day soul goals, you should also think about putting together some kind of self-care routine. And I won't delve into that too much today, but we talked about that. I think that was on last week's Plan the Week Live, which was called 7 Days to Organize Your Life. And I talked about putting together a self-care routine. I will send out a link to that for everyone who attended this evening in case you want to check that out. All right, so moving along, project goals. So what are project goals? So what I tell people is that you should break down your 90-day outcome goal into smaller projects. So let's just say if we go back and look at some of the 90-day outcomes. Let me see here. All right, so Lisa, for example, her 90-day outcome was completing a PowerPoint presentation to be used as a webinar, right? So she might break that down into a smaller project. Like she might say, all right, well, first I need to script out everything that, or wait a minute, first is, let's say, the marketing effort. So how is she going to get people on to that webinar, right? She wants people to show up. So that might be project number one. What are the marketing activities that are going to happen to get people to show up? Okay, then next is the actual creation of the PowerPoint, let's say from a design perspective. So she might be getting the templates, or if she's not gonna create the PowerPoint from scratch. Maybe she finds a beautiful already created template and now she just has to put in her content to that template. And so then let's say that there's some kind of offer related to, which I get the impression that it is, because she wants to use it on a webinar, right? Maybe there's some kind of offer to work with her or her business that's related to that presentation. So then the third kind of mini project might be to create what that offer is and then figure out how you're going to present it to people. That might be crafting your sales pitch for the webinar, or that might be creating some kind of email follow-up after the webinar. So you get where I'm going. So that's kind of how you take that 90-day and break it down into smaller goals. So let's say in the case of LaVon, whose 90-day was to do inspirational subscription boxes. So similarly, right, her first mini project might be, well, let me design what the heck these subscription boxes are going to look like. And that might all entail getting all the products that are going to go inside of it, or if it's information that's going inside of it, putting together all the information. The second little mini project might be the design of the box itself. So where is she going to source the boxes? Where are they coming from? Who's going to be her vendor for the boxes? And then the third piece for her might also be that marketing piece. Well, I don't want to create these beautiful boxes and then there's nobody to offer them to, right? So then she needs a mini project that says, here's the people that are interested. Maybe she's taken some kind of pre-order list or early interest list so that she can announce to people when these boxes are available. So that's exactly how you break down that bigger project, that bigger outcome into mini projects. Now, the thing is, then you can move from the focus on the 90-day goal, you have it there, but your day-to-day is really going to be about these projects. All right, so moving on to the next one, which is money milestones. Now, how many people here have money goals? So let's hear what some of your money goals are. So a money goal might be that you want to increase maybe you want to get to 6 figures in your business. Kimberly says, yes. Be totally debt-free. That's an awesome money goal. I highly recommend Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover book. I did his system not long after college and was able to 100% eliminate all my debt except for my student loans. So that I recommend that. Okay, increase credit score by 20 points. I love that, Sherelle. Very specific, so you know when you've gotten there. Marina says, I want to max out my Roth IRA for the year. I love that. Awesome. Thinking about the future. So we all have money goals, but we forget that we're supposed to be working on them. It's like we set this money goal and then we expect that somehow it's going to happen, but you might not be working on it on a daily or even a weekly or even a monthly basis. So this, again, this one-page productivity planner is keeping everything front and center for you so that you can go back to this on a daily basis or on a weekly basis and say, if I look at my to-do list for the day, this is your filter, moving me towards my better future? Do I have things on my to-do list that are going to help me with my money goals? Or do I not have anything? Do I have anything on my to-do list that aligns me with the many projects that I have set up that are going to get me to that outcome goal? And one of the best checks is the soul goal. So if you are getting snippy with people in your life, you're short with your significant other, you're short with your children, you're frustrated by people constantly coming into your office and interrupting you with their fires and things that they want you to do, you can't focus on your work because of all of the things that are constantly being thrown at you, and you feel really short fused with people, it probably means that you are not sowing into yourself, that you're not doing anything in terms of your soul goals, which, trust me, like if you do nothing else from this call, if you just do this, to spend 15 minutes every day on something for yourself, you're going to feel more whole. You're going to feel better about being able to help others, because it gets really frustrating. And type yes into the chat box if you resonate with this, where you have been short fused with people because you feel like I'm always doing something for other people, but there's never any time left for me. If you resonate with that, then type yes into the chat box. Like, I am constantly giving to others, but who the heck is like giving to me? Who's filling me up? No one. And so we have to absolutely do it for ourselves. Yes, I see lots of yeses. Laban, Lisa, Raina, Betsada. I hope I'm saying your name right. Sadia, Kalinda. Yes, so I see so many yeses. And so this is how you make sure. So again, this one-page productivity plan is your check for yourself, particularly when it comes to the soul goals, but especially those money milestones. And, you know, there's been a lot of talk, especially in terms of now there's a huge renaissance, right, for women, and women kind of working towards creating better futures for themselves. And we did this whole Cash Confidence series last year. I think we should bring that back again this year. It was really good. But there's been a lot of talk about women earning more. And I just have like a very specific belief around that. And my belief is that we can't keep waiting for the hope that somebody's going to make a decision to increase our salary by 10% or 20% or 30%, or even just at the rate of inflation. And we have to be about our own business when it comes to money. And I mean our own business in terms of creating our financial future. And so making sure that you are clear on your, thank you. I'm so glad I said it well. Making sure you are clear on your money milestone and that you're working towards your own financial freedom is key for everybody. But especially I want to highlight that for the ladies. All right. So next is skills mastering. And this is important because in order to create your better future, hit your money milestones, live out your definite major purpose, there's often some skills that you may not have right now that you need to acquire that will help you to get there. And so let's go back to Lisa's example where she talked about the webinar that she wanted to create. Maybe Lisa doesn't really feel confident right now public speaking. Maybe she does, but I'm just saying as an example. So if public speaking isn't totally her forte right now, she might say, you know what, I'm going to go check out my local Toastmasters group and attend some of those meetings, get up a couple of times on stage and like start building up my muscle, my speaking muscle. Or maybe there is a book, right, that she can connect with that tells her about how to craft the perfect talk for a webinar. And so maybe the skill that she needs to develop is being able to put together that solid sales presentation. So there's some skills that we need that are going to help you towards your goals. So let's type them in the chat box. What is the skill that you need to be working on? And I'm not saying to tackle all these things at once. Again, you can leverage 90-day focus. You can say for 90 days, because we can't just assume like, oh, I attended one webinar, like I'm so skilled now and I'm a great public speaker. No, you really need to go deep and develop some level of mastery. And I think for a lot of things, you can do that in a month, 2 months, 3 months. You can have a level of mastery. So let's hear, what are some of the skills that you need to work on? And not that you may not have it at all right now, but you don't have that level of mastery yet. So what's a skill that you need to work on over the next 90 days that's going to help you to get to that bigger goal that you have? Feel free to type that into the chat box. I'm excited to hear what your skills that you're mastering. For me, one of the skills that I'm working on is I've been on local radio for 4.5 years now. Geez, time goes so fast. And I get a lot of calls to the radio station, people asking me if I would come out and DJ live events. And I'm thinking, ooh, that sounds fun. However, it's just me at the station and there's no audience, no one's staring at me like while I'm playing music and like cueing the songs. And I was a little concerned about, going to do live events. So that is a skill that I've been mastering. I got some private lessons and training that will allow me to do more live events. So this spring, I'm going to be DJing live events because that's a skill that I've been working on. Even though I've had the skill of, DJing on air, it's different than doing a live event. And I really wanted to be able to take myself to the next level. So I worked on that skill. So let's see. Oh, wow. There's so many awesome things. So writing and public speaking. All right. So right on, Lisa. We were totally in sync. Timberly says, analytics, reading my social media stats in an effort to brag about my results. I love that. Yes. Getting on those analytics, Google and all the other ones too. So let's see what else. Sherelle says, mastering the necessary software to be a professional web designer, Photoshop, Sketch, consistent writing with different styles. Okay, that's awesome. Really good. Yes, that's really good. Mastering your web design skills. Okay. Elizabeth says, using social media advertising more efficiently, maximizing the algorithms. Woo, Elizabeth, if you can maximize the algorithms, just like let me know. Can you just show me how to do it? They are so all over the place. But I think the mastering the social media advertising is an awesome. And there's so many tools. Let's say if Facebook was your way that you're going to do your social media advertising, they actually have a whole school. They have a free school that teaches you Facebook. Does anyone know that? There's a free school. So you can actually go through that. And let's see. Kate says, feeling confident to speak in front of a camera. That's awesome. That's a good one. Saida says, public speaking. Sherelle, I have always wanted to DJ. Oh, thank you. That's all. That's great. Thank you. She says, good luck. Thank you. Yes. Definitely go for it. Something else that I had a musical passion around was drumming. So I remember as a kid saying, I want to be the next Sheila E. I'm like, I don't want to do that as a career, but like as a hobby. And so several years ago, I joined a group that was called Ladies Rock Camp. It was put on by an organization called Girls Rock, and they have Girls Rock in different cities all over the U.S. And I learned to play drums in a weekend, formed a band called Radio Baby, and we actually performed for like a holiday party and a couple of events together. So that's not necessarily it's not a career aspiration, but I had that dream of like, oh, I want to be a next Sheila E. So I got to fulfill my inner Sheila E. by learning to drum in a weekend. And I continued to take lessons after it. So again, that's filling that creative flow, these creative things that we want. Okay, Levon said creating content and email marketing. That's awesome, Levon. I recommend a book. There's a book by Ryan Deiss called, I can see it from here, Invisible Selling, which I highly recommend for email marketing. I think that will help you. Okay, so Lisa says marketing too. Self-management. Oh, that is so good. You're in the right place for that one. Foreign language skills. Great. That's a really awesome one. If you know any, I want to learn to, my mom's side of the family is from Martinique, and I have very poor French, but partly because I had nobody to speak to growing up. I did take it in elementary school, but I would love to learn to speak French and Spanish fluently. So that's a really awesome one. Okay, let's see. Mastering the fundamentals of graphic design and taking more courses, especially marketing. Great. So there's so many awesome things that you want to accomplish. I'm excited to hear that. All right. So now let's wrap up with the bottom half here. So your goal post is basically saying, all right, and this is perfect because we're at the end of January. February is coming. You can say to yourself, what is one thing? What's a milestone that I need to hit each week? Week 1 in February, week 2, week 3. There's not 5 weeks in February. It's a short month. But so then you can actually take it all the way to March, or you can include, because now we have the last week in January. It's perfect. You can put week 1 as the last week in January, week 2 as February, and week 3 and 4 as and 5 as February. And so then you have from now all the way through the end of February. So write in what is a milestone that you need to hit each week that's going to help you get to that bigger outcome goal, around your mini projects. Now, this is important to also think about in terms of timing, because so I shared the example of our live event series, Business Badass, that's kicking off in March, right? There's certain things that need to happen on a timeline. Like, we could not go past January without having a venue booked, because we have to start letting people know that, hey, you can come to this event that we're having. So this is helpful too, because it can make you front and center on the by when. By when does this need to be done? So if you know that, okay, I absolutely need to, let's say going back to Lisa, easy example with the webinar, I absolutely want to have this webinar happen by that 4th week, then you might say, all right, well, by week 3, I need to be doing my marketing and getting the word out so that people are going to actually show up. All right, so that's how the goalposts work. Then on the right-hand side, you'll see focus days. Now, focus days is deciding which day of the week are you going to focus on different activities. And this is important if you have a lot of different things that you're managing in your life. So I gave the example earlier of you might have family responsibilities, you might have nonprofit organizations that you're involved with, you have your own creative projects and business goals. And so what I like to do is set up theme days. So let's say if Monday is Make Money Monday, right? And then maybe that's a day that you're working on something related to your money milestones. Or let's say that you decide Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be, I don't know, think happy Tuesdays, or, think healthy Tuesdays. And so you're saying that's the days when you're focused on health and wellness. And so maybe that's a non-negotiable, going to the gym. So you can even do this in a more specific level in your business. So let's say that Tuesday might be a day that you focus on content creation in your business, or Wednesday might be a date where you're having a day that you're having a date night with your significant other, or maybe Saturday and Sunday is that day. So you have days of focus throughout your week. The purpose, and it doesn't mean that you have to have something on every day, but that you're mapping out which days you focus on certain activities so that you don't forget things, so that things do not go unattended to. Okay, so that's exactly how that will help you. So now let's go down to the bottom where you see unique abilities. Your unique ability, and there's a book about this that is written by Dan Sullivan. So definitely check that out, Unique Ability. But a unique ability is basically something that you are uniquely good at, different than anyone else. So maybe you are an awesome public speaker. Maybe you are naturally a talented chef. Maybe you are naturally a talented photographer. Maybe you are naturally a talented coach. Not that you necessarily even have a full-time job as a coach, but you are just great at coaching people. Like, people are constantly coming to you for advice, mentorship, support, ideas, and you're just naturally good at coaching people into action and getting them to do something, right? So here you want to write down your unique abilities, and it's not a lot, right? It's usually like one or two things that you are uniquely good at. And the reason you're putting this here, again, because it's one-page productivity is your filter. So when you start looking at, well, what did I do this week? You have to ask yourself, am I focused on the things that are really in my zone of genius, the things that I'm good at? Because the other thing that can start to drain you or derail you or put you in that procrastination bucket is that you have a lot of things that you have given yourself ownership of and responsibility to execute, or that other people have given you ownership of or responsibility to execute, that you don't feel in your natural zone of genius doing those things. And then guess what? You put them off, you delay, you start procrastinating because you do not want to do those things. You feel like, oh my gosh, why did I say I would do this? If that resonates with you, if you've ever signed up to do something and you're like, why did I tell them yes? I know I should not be doing this. This is way off. I don't even enjoy this. So if that resonates for you, type yes in the chat box. So it's important to be reminded of what your unique abilities are so that you can do more things in those areas that you are uniquely good at. Elizabeth said, Lord, right on point. I love that. Okay. And then currently reading. So jumping over to the right-hand side where it says currently reading. I think it's important to put at least one book in there. And what my suggestion would be is to put a book that's related to that skill development area. So I want you to see the power of this. So if you are saying, these are some skills I need to work on, and you're saying the skill you need to work on, we saw awesome things like, foreign language skills or marketing skills. I saw a lot on the marketing skills, but you might be reading a book about something completely different. You might be reading a book that's about, I don't know, let's say you're supposed to be working on marketing, but you're reading a foreign language book, or you're supposed to be working on foreign language and you're reading a marketing book. Well, now you're creating that yo-yo mind where you're all over the place. And so when you start to really line up just for 90 days, line up the things that you're doing. Well, you have a skill building desire around marketing, and now you're reading a marketing book. You're going to start to see that area of your life or your business to grow by leaps and bounds because you have created focus on it. So I would highly recommend that you select something in terms of your skill building or something specifically related to your 90-day outcome goal that's going to help you execute on the things that are going to get that done. But don't be off, doing something else. We're constantly consuming information. Don't be off doing something else that's not going to be aligned with what you're working on. Okay. And then finally is just rituals for success. So if you don't have different routines set up in your life, then that's going to be critical for you to get some of those routines set up. And I would highly recommend that you go back and check out our Plan the Week Live from the past so that you can learn more about that. In fact, I think I can give you the URL so that you can check that out. So let's see. I want to take any questions that you have. I'm going to open up the floor for Q&A right now. So if you have questions and you want to be unmuted, you can just type yes, unmute me into the chat box. Or if you don't want to be unmuted, then that's okay too. Feel free to go ahead and type your question right in to the chat box right now. And I'm going to get started with doing some Q&A. But first, I just want to give you the URL where you can go and view some of our past Plan the Week lives. I think it will come up. Okay, it's not coming up for me. So what I'll do is I'll just send it out to everyone. No worries, you will get it. All right, so let's see your questions. Now, if any of this has been helpful for you and you're thinking, hey, this daily success methodology sounds helpful, then I definitely invite you to go check out our website, dailysuccessroutine.com. And there you can find a lot of our tools that we have available that can help you moving forward in this process. So, in effect, I'll just pull up really quickly. New share. Here we go. Moving back to this PowerPoint. So just to show you, I pulled this up in the before. But these are our tools. So our planner, our vision journals, and all of that stuff is right on our website. So if you're thinking, I think she's on to something here, and I need to implement some of these things, then definitely feel free to go and check out our website, and you can find our tools there. In fact, I will put that into the chat box for you as well. But I'm really excited about taking some questions. Okay, Lisa says she wants to unmute. Great. All right. So I'm typing into the chat box our website. Feel free to check that out. And I am coming for Lisa right now. Or you can feel free to unmute yourself, Lisa. Oh, there you are, Lisa. We can't. Okay, now we can hear you, Lisa.
Hi.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey. Well, it is a statement. Last week you talked about things to put on my schedule to try and do, and clearing my email to zero was one of them. And I had never done that before. And so when I did that on my Gmail, a little sunshine comes up and it says, "Hey, you have no email." I had never seen that before. Have a wonderful day.
That's awesome, Lisa. So okay,
so cute.
Yeah. So how did you do it? So what really sparked you from our Plan the Week live last week, and what things helped you to get to Inbox Zero?
Well, it's just that I had so many, and I was using it as a to-do list, and that was just not good. It didn't move things forward. So I said I just created a couple of folders. I put things in there. If it's a receipt, I just put it in there.
Nice.
And that's it. Oh, and it also helps that Gmail saves all of your stuff, even if you trash it. So
right.
I just went through it. I said, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Right.
I have to retrieve something later.
Right.
So, yeah. So
that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Plan the Week Live is working. Okay, great. Anyone else have something to share or any questions? I would love to hear from you. You can feel free to unmute or either type in the chat box. I'm just looking at the chat box. Oh, don't be shy now, ladies and gents. We are on a live video call here. It's the advantage. Okay, Chanel, go-to tip to get and stay organized. Okay, Well, I'd love for you to say more about that. So what is the thing that you're trying to organize mostly? Is it a space? Is it your work? Is it your personal life? It might be all of the above, but where do you want to start? And then I can give you a tip on that. Okay, Elizabeth says, she made a working budget. Okay, so Elizabeth was in our session Plan the Week Live last week, and she also put together a working budget. That's awesome. All right, some wins. Kalinda, how can I attain course material for this week? You mean the handout? The handout is posted in the chat box. So if you go to the very top of the chat box, today's handout is posted there. And I will also send out with our newsletter the link to our Plan the Week Live page, which you will be able to access the handout there as well. Oh, okay, my go-to, Sherelle is saying. Okay, all right, let me get to that one. 1 second. Okay, do you suggest a separate project planner sheet for each goal? Okay, that's a great question. So let me just clarify something. So what I do is one outcome goal. That one outcome gets broken down into mini projects. So that's typically on the same page. For each outcome goal, I break it down into mini projects. Now, if there's another outcome goal, then yes, I may put that onto a different page. If I have a different outcome goal that I'm working on, yes, I'll put that onto a different page just so I can keep track of, you know, all of the related goals. Or sometimes I'll also, yeah, that's essentially my process. Now, when I'm collaborating, let's say with my team, I will utilize our same daily success methodology in terms of breaking down, setting a 90-day outcome goal, breaking it down into mini projects. And then I put those projects into Trello to share them with the team. So on a day-to-day basis, you know, individually, we might be working in our planner, but when we're sharing tools and information, then we're also doing that via Trello. So yes, I do utilize, it's important that every goal gets broken down smaller. And just so that this doesn't feel complicated, the big distinction is this. A lot of us set goals that are very big, like, well, I'll just use like the podcast as an example. Creating a live event series that's in New York City, like that's a big goal. But it doesn't tell you what to do next. It's like, ooh, I know I want to put on this big event, but I don't know like how to get started with that. But by having a project that says, okay, well, you know, the mini project number one has to be like actually getting things up and set up in terms of the location, the format, all of that stuff, like the actual event logistics. Like that's one project. That's a mini project. Okay, now I know what to do next. I know I can tackle the event logistics piece, or I can break a mini project down that says marketing. Hey, we don't want to put together this whole thing and we're sitting there crickets, nobody's in the audience, right? So a mini project is going to be, what's the marketing execution plan? How are we going to make people aware of this event so that they come, right? Another mini project might be the content. Well, what's the content that is going to be curated and shared out onto this podcast? We need speakers. We need a theme song, all of these things that have to happen in order to make this come to life. Well, now I know what to do. If I just write down a big goal of like creating this live event series, it's overwhelming. And that's a lot of reason why we don't move forward on those goals. I can't tell you how many people that I know who have a goal of something like writing a book. Well, that feels like huge. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know where to begin in writing a book. Well, if you just have a project that says, all right, I'm going to write a chapter a week. You know what to do next. Maybe you have a project that says, I need to get a graphic designer, a design team that's going to help with the layout of the book and the cover and all of those graphic elements that go into it. Now you know what to do next. So that's the big difference between moving from that big outcome, big thinking, to narrowing down into these project-based goals. And that's exactly how it'll get you taking action. It's a game changer. All right, so I'm skipping a question, which was from Sherelle, who was asking about organizing. You're welcome, Levon. So Okay, so the number one thing that you can do to organize is to map out your week every Sunday. So when we're finished with Plan the Week Live, I will map out my week. And it's significant because it'll help you figure out where you might have taken on too much. You might need to cancel some things. Like, for example, I know off the top of my head that I've been invited to about 3 or 4 things that are taking place on, I think it's Tuesday and Wednesday. Like literally there's 3 things on Tuesday and 3 things on Wednesday. And I probably want to go to all of them, but I cannot. So I need to make a decision today about which things I'm going to officially RSVP to and which things I'm not going to, so that I'm not making myself crazy. Because the other thing is, if you don't make a decision and you're not planning your week ahead, you'll ultimately just decide to do nothing. You'll either do nothing or you'll take the, a multitask approach and you'll try to do it all. And then you're in overwhelm. So that is the number one thing I can suggest in terms of getting organized is every Sunday or Saturday, like just before Monday, make sure that you actually plan out the week ahead, confirm meetings and appointments, cancel things that you can't make, move things around, and make sure that you have prep time on the calendar. Prep is when you are actually working on things that you have committed to do. So if that's a project that you're supposed to execute, something in your business or something that you had told somebody else you're going to do, you need work blocks on your calendar for where you're completing those actual tasks. So make sure that you do those things, and that will be significant in terms of getting organized. The other thing that I would say is creating some routines. So either having a morning routine that's helping you prime your day so that you're going into the day with the right mindset, and then having what I call a power down routine to make sure that the night before you're setting your day up to win. So the night before you might be deciding, what are the 3 most important things that I'm going to tackle tomorrow? You might be putting out your clothes, packing your lunch for tomorrow, packing your work bag, right? So your power down routine is helping you set up the next day. If anybody is like me, you've had the experience of running out the house, realizing you've forgotten this thing, and then you get out back into the car, you realize you forgot something else, right? And so it gets so crazy. So it's important that you have that power down routine. All right. So any other questions? If not, then I want to thank everyone for coming. I really, really appreciate it. It's so exciting to be able to share this time with you. I'll be back here next Sunday for another Plan the Week Live at 7 p.m. Eastern. So definitely tune in again. I'll be sending out a invitation to make sure that you're invited and can get it onto your calendar, as well as the replay. You're welcome. Sherelle, Karen, Saida, Lisa, Elizabeth, I really appreciate you. Carolyn, everyone for coming. Yes, I do not mind at all. I will repost the document with the handout right into the chat box so that you can grab it if you were not able to. And then when I send out the replay, you'll also be able to get it there as well. So thank you everyone for attending. William, this is the first time I'm seeing you, so welcome. Hope you come back again. Really appreciate all of our return Plan the Week Livers, and also thanks so much, Nina, and everyone who joined that is new as well. So look forward to seeing you next Sunday for another Plan the Week Live. And remember, check out our website for other upcoming events and exciting things that we will be having, which is dailysuccessroutine.com. You can check us out there. So thanks, everyone. Have a great evening. And don't forget, plan your week ahead for next week. I'll see you next Sunday.